All right, that's enough. That's enough of that. I don't know. Why is it so, huh, weird. I'm gonna start doing the tarot soon. I'm waiting for a couple of people who said they might come by. Let's see. I think, is Obama holes awesome super George Biden? I forget. Sometimes I can't tell what people's, what names people have between platforms. I don't know if anyone can tell. But, you know. Anyway. Stop getting my presidents mixed up. What are we talking about? Super George Biden? I support Super George Biden. Why not? One day we'll probably have a President Joe Bush. We could have had a Jeb Bush, but that would have sucked, I think. Does the sound any better today? I'm using a different thing for sound. I'm trying to see if it sounds good or not. But you'll have to tell me. Yeah, I mean, I did some EQ. There's EQ on it. Um, but it always takes me a million years to figure out how I should EQ something. I do have un-EQ on to help DS, so it still doesn't sound great on my end for S's, but it should be a little bit better. I don't know. Just, it's got a little bit of latency still. I think I don't know. If the sound's better, that's good. Well, all right, so I have the deck shuffled. I always shuffle it 7 times. And I have a ritual, you know. So we need smoke for the spirits. Keeps away the bad spirits, they say. I don't know why, but seems to me like it works. Hold on. I'm gonna light it in incense. First, I'll light this candle. Yeah. Got my 2 kinds. The one's a flute pipe. Sure. I mean, I don't give a shit, but I thought people probably wouldn't like I just have a fan going because I live in Hawaii, so it's always warm. Yeah, I know no one wants World War III over Ukraine. We discussed this. The other day. Whether I thought there would be nuclear war over Ukraine. I don't think so, but you know, I did an interesting I Ching reading for the whole thing. Under Ukraine. What the hell does that mean? All right. So, after I studied anthropology in college, I studied entheogenic medicines with the Native Americans. And smoking tobacco from a pipe is one of the big ritual things. They had a tobacco plantation, not a big one. It was only like a big garden, basically. The Washoe tribe, and I used to get their tobacco from there. But you fractured your patella? That sucks. How did you do that? How do you fracture a patella? Something fall on you? Motorcycle accident? But the tobacco smoke is said to carry prayers to the ancestors and to scare away evil spirits, the same as the incense does. The negative influence of jinn, unfriendly jinn. Oh, that sucks. That must have been pretty painful. It must be pretty painful. When I broke both my collarbones, that was awful. But the patella was probably whole back pain. Of course I'm full of shit, so's everyone. Okay, so the deck is shuffled. I'm going to go to rt.com. I'm going to take the first number, whatever the digital root of it is, that I see. I don't see any numbers. $14.4 billion. How U.S. government was bought for $14.4 billion. And that's the first number I see. 1 plus 4 plus 4 is 9. So I will cut 90% of the way in the deck. Let's see. I had an idea about how to show this on stream. I'll show you the card, but I also have pictures of all the cards. I can put them up on the stream. Let's see. What did I do with that? Oh, there it is. Huh. Wow, they have lots. I downloaded this thing that had pictures of the Rider-Waite deck, but there's like 4 different versions. Makes me wonder what versions I'm using. If they're all done by Pamela, what's her name? Maybe. I mean, here in Hawaii they do. It's pretty well known. They call them night walkers usually. They go on processions through the night. And if you see them, you're supposed to lie down on your back and not look at them. because in the old times in Hawaii, if an ali'i passed you, then you'd have to take off your clothes and lie on your back. And if you didn't, then you could be killed for breaking kapu. Kapu is the same word as taboo. Taboo is just the Tahitian version, I think. Okay, so deck is dealt cut. The first card I'm going to pull is going to be for just the general situation of the world. The Tower. Tower upright. Well, the Tower means the disaster of a man's own making, as in the Tower of Babel that was built and was destroyed by God for their hubris, you know. Oh, damn it! They didn't name the cards. Okay, let's see. They're all just random numbers. That's really annoying. Okay, where's... B. Man, this is going to be annoying. 278 B. I'm just going to rename it. I'm going to rename the card the Tower, and then we'll rename that later. The Tower. Okay, that'll make it easier. But it didn't recognize the... There we go. So just to keep track of what cards we pulled, I'll put it up here. The Tower. The Tower. Yeah, the Tower represents that mankind builds a tower, believes himself a king to be safe, and all that. So you see the crown is being destroyed by the lightning of God, and you see people falling to their deaths. And it's all because they chose to inhabit a tower to begin with. So it symbolizes that the machinations of mankind are going to be brought to their knees by the power of God, generally speaking. It usually means a disaster. So I'm not surprised at this card to say that right now is a bit of a disaster. All right, now I'm going to pull a card for Russia. Queen of Pentacles inverted. Thank you. They're really cheap. So the queen is the internal ruler of a realm. She's you could say, the spiritual ruler or the emotional ruler of a realm. And in this case, the inversion, well, inversion's a pretty complicated thing to predict, but it means take a close look at something here. And I think Queen of Pentacles and This is Russia's position here, which is probably indicating, from what I know of this situation, something that we already know, which is that they're being starved out of money. Pentacles represent the earth and money generally, or metals, or the material world. The queen is the internal ruler of a realm, and this shows an internal emotional upset over money or over materials. So Russia may feel like their only choice is to attack Ukraine because it's extremely rich in natural resources and in agricultural products. This one is for Ukraine. Oh, the Queen of Swords, upright. That one's also no surprise. Queen of Swords is the element of the air and the mind, and the Queen, again, the internal ruler, shows that emotionally, I mean, it probably is quite literal in this case because of the whole thing going on. They are concerned about warfare. I mean, I guess that's obvious. So far, none of this has been very surprising. Though I'm not sure that it would be, because I think that we understand the basic situation fairly okay. How did that flip? It just flipped. Alright, so there's for Ukraine. Sensible. Sensible. And now I'm going to flip for United States and for China, in particular because I'm interested in how it will affect us here. United States is the Knight of Swords inverted. The knight is the one of a suit that goes on a quest, and the quest here is one of weapons. It's inverted, so I think that will indicate that the United States does not intend to intervene militarily. I've heard Biden say as much, but though how long this will last for, I don't know. The I Ching reading I did was the lake over, I got lake over water, and water is often called the abyss, to show that the pleasantness of the world is being drained out the bottom. So it shows, it's an image of oppression, and then the changing lines rendered thunder from the earth, thunder over the earth, which I think in this case is pretty self-explanatory. I gotta move these cards from my keyboard so I can type. See, it flipped it. Will it go back if I make it big? It flipped it like randomly. Oh well, I don't care. Transform, flip. So there's the United States not super anxious to run off into battle. I guess, like, again, we probably could have just guessed that. That's not that's not really a very telling card. So for China, the Emperor. Well, the Emperor is the material ruler of the kingdom, and the card here seems to suggest that they're the one really in control of the situation as far as it goes internationally, that the cards are in their favor, so to speak. Yeah, thunder over the earth is thunder is one of the I Ching. It means activity. It's not necessarily disastrous, but it does mean prepare for battle. I mean, that's what the judgment says in I Ching in the book. So it says the wise man prepares his forces, or prepares his army. So that reading made me think a bit, and that China just got the Emperor card. I would not be surprised. I feel like China, I don't know, I'm not an expert really, but now seems like a pretty good time for China to try to invade Taiwan. Let's see if it flips again when I make it smaller. See, it's the correct way? Oh, it didn't flip. Alright, so there's China. Our friend Pitch, who is Russian, asked me to pull a card or to question about, let me pull up his words, his wording of the question. I told him I would ask, or I was going to do a reading for it at some point. He asked, is this theater for the plebs, or is Putin free of strings and making a genuine power play? This card is the Ten of Wands, Ten of Staves. Staves represent fire and the life energy, and they're gathering up the bundle. 10 is the number of the completion of a path. As one returns to 0, you return to the beginning. It shows the ending of a cycle, and it has to do with careers and things like that. I wonder, I don't know what I'm overlooking here. Okay, well that might... So, the 10 of Wands, you can clearly see someone struggling with their load. See, it flipped. Why did it flip? So this burden kind of implies that that probably there are strings attached. I mean, my personal opinion on the whole thing is that there must be some kind of plan. The fact that Biden was intending to give a speech at 1 o'clock on Tuesday, the 22nd of February, but then delayed it to start at 2:22 on 2/22/2022, shows me that there's some kind of thing that's trying to be indicated gematria-wise. Of course, if you want to be biblical about it, 222, 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. 2/22, 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. 2022, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. So 666. Did I know that Alex Jones predicted the war? No, but I'm not surprised. I mean, I've been talking about this war for years, because ever since 2014, the whole color revolution is a bit, it was a bit obvious, and everyone should have known that Russia was not going to be happy with, it was never their intention to allow the NATO to put nuclear weapons into Ukraine. That would be insanity. I mean, for them. I mean, that would be such a stupid move for them. So I think that he must think that they're backed into a corner, and he can either do something big and try to provide for the future of Russia as an independent bloc, or they'll have to concede and fully join the West Anglo-Israeli banking. That's not to say that they're not already connected to Anglo-Israeli banking, but Russian banking is, at least their central bank is separate from Rothschild's central banks. So they have some advantages in that sense. I haven't listened to Alex Jones in a long time. I don't know. Just haven't. I don't even hear anyone talk about him anymore, which is a shame, because he usually has some interesting things to say. Lobsters are psychic, he said once, which is maybe true. I don't know. Who knows, man. All right. So, let's pull a card just to say, how big will this Ukraine war become? Page of Cups. Cups is water, and the page, actually it's interesting because it might symbolize Aquarius. Right now, I was doing this reading now because the Sun and Jupiter are in conjunction in this constellation of Aquarius. Page of Cups. The page is the one who wants to be initiated into a court. So the beginning of a court of cups of water. So if you just read the page part, you would say, oh, it's not going to be big. But I think what it's saying is that it's initiating a new age, because the symbolism involved, the man who carries water is a symbol of Aquarius, and the fish that looks out from the cup is a symbol of Pisces, as we move from Pisces into Aquarius. Approaching March 21st, which is my birthday, that's the spring equinox. Well, it's the average spring equinox. It could be either the 20th or the 22nd, but or the 21st. But the 21st is the average. So, Page of Cups. Okay, I'm going to put that one up, but go ahead and ask any questions you guys think are relevant to the situation. Let's see if he flips. He didn't flip. How long will the war be? It's the High Priestess inverted. So you can see the High Priestess is, she's holding the Torah in between the pillars of Yakin and Boaz. Inverted is saying to pay attention to something. We see the crescent moon there. Let's see. It's an interesting card for that question, because it seems to indicate that it'll be, I don't know, it'll be over when its purpose is over, as far as the, like the checkerboard floors of the Freemasons Lodge show the battle of good and evil, or the good and evil side by side coexisting in like a checkerboard. The High Priestess sits between Yakin and Boaz, the pillars that are separated, and and it also indicates that there's a religious connotation. And then, of course, I don't know. I am avoiding generally predicting that it will be an apocalyptic war. But this card does kind of indicate. I mean, and we asked, it could be initiating a new age. It will take as long as it takes for the ritual to be complete. This is reverse. So. What is the significance of this war? The devil. Well, there goes that optimism. Let me try not to predict an apocalypse. Oh, here, what's the significance of the war? Oh, it's the devil. Just the devil. Nothing, nothing too bad. Just the devil. And at the beginning, my general card for it was the Tower, which shows the destruction of what mankind builds. Yep, so China may be the big winner out of this one. The United States looks reluctant. Russia seems to be in bad financial straits. Ukraine looks like they intend to fight to the death. Looks like Vladimir Putin is burdened by strings attached. Looks like this is initiating the age of Aquarius, so it will probably be quite destructive. The High Priestess is involved in how long it will be, which says it will basically take as long as it takes for the ritual to be what it needs to be, I guess. Come here, Maya. Come here. Come here. And I don't know. You guys have a question you want asked? Oh, Miss Aya. This is my cat, Miss Aya. Her name's Aya, but I call her Miss Aya because it sounds like Messiah. She's named for the ayahuasca goddess. She's my best friend. Move these cards out of the way. Aya, look over here. Look right here. Over this way. I want to think carefully on this next question. After pulling the devil, I'm like, well, I want to see how many people are going to be affected. But the chariot represents choice, the choice between good and evil, as you can see from the black and white. It's also related to Plato's Phaedrus. This is the chariot inverted. Implying that there is no choice. Okay. So you want to ask about human trafficking in Ukraine? That was a good question. The biolabs. I was thinking about that. Okay, so okay, we'll do the biolabs one. If you state the question about human trafficking that I'm trying to answer, or if you, I'm not sure. what the question is about. This is the Eight of Wands. And what it's depicting, even though that they're staves, this is depicting a flight of arrows. The number 8 represents two worlds colliding, as in a war. And it symbolizes generally that they are weapons. I mean, I guess that's obvious. Well, so number 8. Yeah, I guess the significance is that they represent a weapon that can't be stopped. I am one of those people that thinks that COVID was at least being developed in order to be a weapon. It has the proprietary gene sequences that are in it, that are patented, make it seem like yeah. So one of the meanings of the Eight of Wands is motivation. And in that sense, if it's literally talking about the motivation of, what's the significance of them, is that they're a motivation for why they have to, or why Putin feels like he has to do it now, which he's been putting off for the last 8 years, basically. I mean, he could have finished the invasion in 2014, but he didn't, and then he didn't do much during Trump's presidency. He could have, but I think Trump. See, that's why sometimes it's good to elect someone that people think is insane, because you have to hope they're not actually insane, that people just think they are. But the reason is that you want all your enemies to think that they're crazy enough they just might push the button. I always joke that the people in charge are the biggest assholes, because everyone just gives them power to get them to shut up. They're like, whatever, just call yourself president, do whatever you want, because fuck it. And then they go on and keep making trouble and making people, they just keep pushing whatever button people put in front of them. The first one's like, hey, ring this bell and I'll bring you a beer or whatever. And then eventually they just have to build bigger and bigger buttons till no one's a big enough asshole to push it. So they try to make it so no one's a big enough asshole to push the nuclear war button. But some people really are big enough assholes to do that, I think. You know what? I'd like to draw a card about extraterrestrials, because they've deactivated nuclear weapons before. UFOs in military accounts. I mean, we have Maelstrom Air Force Base, and there was one other Air Force base where their nuclear weapons were all taken offline by UFOs, and now the Navy has said that they exist. So I've seen some news that China's been seeing a big increase in UFO activity. That's interesting. So I want to ask, what will be the involvement of UFOs in the war, I guess. Oh, the Six of Wands. That's cool. It's catching my green screen. Six of Wands inverted. So the Six of Wands is usually represents, well, it shows like Caesar returning triumphantly. So it's a symbol of triumph in an inverted sense. You know, it indicates something like pride, undeserved victory, and probably maybe it means that it's being overlooked. Yeah, because it represents a loss generally, or a excess of pride, that kind of thing. Okay, well, I have space for like one more card, so I'll just say, what is the best advice for all of us? Shit, man. It's the Seven of Pentacles inverted. Usually this shows that hard work is bearing fruits. I guess this is saying, like, be ready to have everything be gone. Which, I don't know. Is that what it's saying? Let's see. Work without... Yeah, it's like normally it represents fruitfulness in work. Inverted, it can represent like work for pointless work, slavery. Can represent, you know, like a lack of progress, procrastination, things like that. So that's the last one, unless you guys have another question to ask real quick. Well, this is, at least this will be a video on YouTube. We can see how it all pans out. And usually what I do for the last thing is I look at the bottom card of the deck to see what's underlying the whole process. So this is the Two of Pentacles, which is symbolic of balancing money, keeping finances in balance. It's inverted. So I think it's indicative that the global finances are out of balance. I think we all know that. But I guess now is a good time to have already invested in gold or silver, probably silver. Well, there you go. All right, we can review real quick. So, I asked, what is the current state, or what is the state of things? The Tower. Human machinations are destroyed by acts of God. Or just total destruction of plans and plots. Russia is the Queen of Pentacles inverted, showing they feel impoverished financially or materially. Ukraine is the Queen of Swords, shows that emotionally they're ready to fight. America is the Knight of Swords inverted, showing that America is reluctant to gallop off into battle. China is the Emperor, shows that they're in control of, they feel in control of the situation. They feel like they have a lot of, control over things. The question, are there strings attached to Vladimir Putin? Is the Ten of Wands, shows burdens. He's burdened. Probably means that there's a lot more than just personal power plays involved. That it's something much larger than one person. And then I said, what was the significance of the war? Page of Cups could symbolize Pisces moving into Aries as the man who carries water is initiated. That's the meaning of the page. How long will it last? Okay. Did I ask the significance of the war and got the Devil? Well, how long the war would last was the High Priestess inverted, showing that the ritual form of it will last as long as the ritual takes. And the Devil was the significance of it, or the force behind it. I forget what exactly I asked. We'll be able to go back and check on YouTube. How many people will be affected? Looks like we don't have a choice. What's the relation to the biolab? Their motivation in that they represent a weapon, like a flight of arrows, that can't be stopped. This should be inverted. I asked about what we would see from UFOs, and it showed failure, over-pridefulness, I don't know. And then what's advice for us? I don't know. This is like work goes to waste. So I guess just chill out and have a beer and there you go. I don't know, man. All right, well, guess that's that. Later on, might get back on and play some Crusader Kings 2, because I was been, hey, what's up, Aeon? Yeah, did my tarot reading. Okay, so I'll catch you guys later.